Hello everyone. So we are hello ma'am, how are you?
Hi, Sambal. I'm fine, thank you.
Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So quick introduction, I am the co-founder of Urvann.com. We are trying to do something revolutionary as far as the nurseries in India are concerned. It is something like Zomato for nurseries, so online plant-based experience has not been very good, and we are trying to do that. But and around that, we have also lined up these conversations with eminent personalities like you. And personally, I've been a very uh, keen admirer of your work, right from the days when you used to do your YouTube videos. And unfortunately, you have reduced those videos, and so I really used to like those videos. And my gardening journey began as in looking at your videos, looking at your composting videos. So really grateful to you, and truly a fanboy moment for me. So I am
Thank
a
you.
huge fan of you. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
taking the time, and
Thank you
we'll
so
get
much.
started. So anything that you want to say before we start?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on Ur Urvan, no?
Yeah,
Urvan.
so it is
Yeah.
called Urban, and it is derived from two words, urban and one. So
Okay.
yeah,
The urban
and
forest.
together, yeah. So indoor forest. So that this is what we are trying to create,
Very
especially in a
nice.
city like this.
Yeah, I think we need more and more people to provide that kind of greenery, in
Yes.
spaces that people live around. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So, first of all, so you have been a crusader of composting and you have been a crusader of sustainable living. So, how has been the journey? How has been the journey from Vani Murphy to Urvann? So, can you quickly tell us in two, three lines?
Journey has been awesome. It's something that I even haven't even thought of dreaming. It's been so liberating to be a part of a kind of movement that's happening, that we all get into the mode of caring for our environment, looking at what we
Mm-hmm.
can do as individuals, as communities. Who I was as Vani Murthy was nothing compared to what I am today. I
Yeah.
have been a homemaker, basically loved the comfort of my home and did hardly did anything outside home. For me to take this on, because I connected so passionately to the
Yeah.
things that I that came to me at the right time. I think the universe plays a part in this. At the right
Yeah.
time when you're ready, things come to you, and then you hook onto it, and there is no turning back, there's no stopping. It's just a space where you enjoy doing what you're doing, and I think you just evolve as a better person, as a better
Yeah.
citizen of this planet.
Yeah. So, how has been the journey, as in any regrets over the last 10 years, 15 years? Any regrets, anything that you miss doing? Like, so,
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I can't have any
yeah.
regrets. It is,
Yeah.
I just feel grateful that I have so much to do. At this age, I am very excited about
Mhm.
doing what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
it really keeps me very energetic. And I look forward to growing old in this fashion,
Great.
not really
So that
looking
is
at,
very lovely to hear. So first of all, your smile is very infectious. So whenever I see your videos, it is very catchy, and we want to see more of your videos, more of your lives, and that is why you are the as in it is a great privilege to have you as our first guest on our live. And tell us about composting. So for people who do not know, why is composting important, and why should everyone start composting? Because still many people feel that I should not be doing it. Even if I throw it in landfills, it will ultimately decompose and it will ultimately, so I can take compost from there. So why is it important that I should start segregating and I should start composting?
yeah. Yeah, it's a very, very important questions to answer, because most people have no clue what the impact of their actions are. So waste is
Mm-hmm.
generated by all of us. All of us
Yeah.
generate waste, and if we are not mindful of what happens to the waste that we generate after use, because waste is nothing but end of use to you, but there is still life which we don't realize. Like many of you, even I hadn't realized this before I got into this space. So what really happens to that waste that you send out every day? Because we buy stuff, we cook, we have the kitchen waste. There are different kinds of waste, that electronic waste. There's so much waste that we generate. And people, as you said, if they think that it can go to the landfill and then I can take the compost from there, they're completely mistaken, because landfill is a very polluting place. When mixed waste goes, and especially when the kitchen waste is there with the mixed waste, there is no composting happening there. There is anaerobic digestion of organic matter. There's a big difference between a composting that is done aerobically, where actually the organic waste turns into an amazing feed to the soil, which gives nutrients to the plant, available to the plant. But then in the landfill, it gets compacted. There is no oxygen because you keep dumping waste, and it just compacts. And then there is methane that releases because of anaerobic digestion. And that's polluting the environment. Methane is 20-25 times worse than carbon dioxide. And also the leachate enters the soil and to the groundwater, and all that contaminate our environment. The ecosystem is the one that suffers when we think that somebody will take care of our waste. The municipality is there. They will handle the waste. There is this landfill where, it gets collected. It is natural to decompose, it is organic waste. But unfortunately, even if they have facility to compost mixed waste, you cannot get good quality compost. Even if you send your waste in a mixed form, and they have a facility where in the landfill scientifically they're trying to create some compost, it's not going to be as the quality like how you could do it when you do it in your home or in your communities, because you're watching it. The easiest way to deal waste is in the smallest quantities, and the smallest quantity compared to a city level is what we generate. So it's so much easier for us to handle our waste by segregating it, in the sense putting it into different categories: dry waste, the reject waste, the wet waste, and then diverting it away from the landfill should be the focus for every household, every organization, every college. Everybody should have that as a focus, that when I generate, I take complete responsibility of the waste.
Yeah, so that is a very relevant point. So that brings it to my next question, Anitai. So you in your videos, you in your Instagram lives, you make the entire composting activity a very fun activity, a very easy activity, partly because of your smile, and partly because the entire activity in itself is really simple if you know the basics. So I have seen your video where you say that there are five basic components of composting: green waste, brown waste, and so on. So despite it being so easy, despite it being so necessary thing, still people do not do it. So what can be the basic biggest hurdles which we can as a community try to solve, so that more people start coming into composting, because this is something that, as you rightly said, every household should do. So what are those biggest hurdles? So is it the smell? Is it the worm? So you are a worm, Rani, so you should be doing it better. So why is it that people are not composting? So we have every basic thing that we have and at our homes, and this being a very basic thing itself. So why we shrug off this responsibility?
Yeah, so I think the hurdle is there in the mind. We don't open up our minds to experiment with something. I think most people are afraid to fail, right? So that's the first biggest hurdle, is that you are afraid in any part of your life. If you're afraid to fail, then you're not going to try it out at all. So I won't do this course because I may not do well and I may fail. So you don't even want to experiment with anything. So I think the first hurdle is there, that the fear of failure, and because composting is a natural process. It happens all the time, all over this planet. But when people start looking in their mind a block of smell, space, time, all these are the mind. Like my friend Vasuki says, you just have to open up your mind. The block is there. So once you do that, I think it is exciting to experiment, because we all love to experiment with something. We experiment with cooking, not looking at, it may not come well. We still try to cook because we know the ingredients, we see the process, we watch videos. So it's like that. If you could just understand there is a process, like you said, there are 5 things that you need to basically understand about composting. It is a breakdown of organic matter. You need the fresh greens, which is highly moist, which is high in nitrogen. Then you need the browns, which is the carbon stuff, which is dry. And the balance between these two is the most important. How are you going to keep the process well balanced, the moisture balance? Because, and you also need the microbes, you need a container, you make sure there is enough oxygen to turn the pile around. So if you keep this process in focus, even if there is some hurdle or some challenge, you will want to do. Because to me, my first attempt was a huge failure. It was stinking. But then I had visited the landfill and I knew I'm not going to send my waste out. But there was no choice for me but to experiment with it, keep trying till I get it right. And the second attempt was fantastic. It was smelling so awesome. So I immediately knew what went wrong, or what I didn't do right. If you want to look at it very positively, what didn't I do right than what went wrong, So I think you have to get some excitement, give yourself the time to learn the process, and then I bet that you will be addicted to it, and you would not let one peel get out of your house for the rest of your life, because it is available for you to do in your home with your waste, and the ultimate product is this amazing sweet smelling thing that you can put into soil and grow your food, grow your greens, grow your whatever plants that you love, whether it is edible or it is beautiful flowering plants. You just have to grow and create that lovely little ecosystem in your homes, in your balconies, in your terraces, wherever there is space. So I think we need to bring that excitement into composting. That's why for me, in 12 years, I'm still very excited to talk about composting. Every day when I take my kitchen waste, I feel so grateful that I have this art, I call this the art of composting, that I honed the skill of composting. And I'm grateful that I have this in my life, and I'm not wasting great resource that needs to build soil, because basically agriculture is missing that organic matter. It's all, it's not getting to where it belongs. It's getting lost in the landfills. So if we could just reverse that, we'll be contributing to the climate change. We all talk about climate change, big jargons, all that we do. Simple thing like, can I do this at home and contribute to that, that reversing of this horrible thing that's happening, which is so aggressive, the kind of damages that are happening because of the climate change. Each of us need to take that step. It is action time. It is action time. There's no choice.
So what I say during my workshops around these composting things is that the entire nature has developed its own cycle. And if you see a seed, so seed will germinate into a tree. Tree will then the leaves on the trees will live their life. They will fall onto the ground, and then they will mix with the soil, and then the entire cycle starts again. It is us humans who have disturbed the entire cycle, and it is completely our responsibility to make, as in, not disturb the cycle, if not make it faster, but completely take your point around how it is our responsibility and no one else's. So it is responsibility more than anything else, which everyone should realize. So how does one start composting? So what is the first step? Should I be a gardener first and then start composting? Should I be a composter first and then use that end product in my garden? So I am a very new person, as in I have not done composting before, I have not done any gardening before. Then how should I start? Where should I start? What should be the starting point?
Right. It could be this way or that way. I hadn't grown a single plant when I started composting, because I always thought there was something called the green thumb, which of course that got completely, it was just a myth. And the thing is, my guru, Dr. Vishwanath, he's no more now. He's the one who introduced me to urban farming and, introduced me to organic terrace gardening. He's a pioneer in Bangalore who started this movement. He would always say, if you want to grow anything, You first have to do rainwater harvesting, then you have to do composting, and then only grow. Because he believed very strongly that these are two resources that's getting lost. Your kitchen waste that comes out of the kitchen, and the rainwater, which can be harvested and kept for growing your food, and then step on to growing your food. But people who are already growing something, they already understand growing, they love plants, and they have huge gardens, they should be composting. It'll be shocking if they're not composting and kept buying compost from outside. So you're not just being self-sufficient, but you're also creating fantastic, living soil. You don't have to worry about the process at all. It's simple. It is experiential. Just dive into the process, and then I think you will feel it's so rewarding. Because when you touch that sweet smelling black gold, which you've done it in your own hands, I mean, the pleasure and the satisfaction is ultimate. You just cannot get it in any. It's like you cooking a fantastic dish and everybody relishing it. When you put your plants will relish, because they get the amazing nutrients from that. And it keeps the soil so healthy, and that's where this organic matter belongs, in the soil. So the process is very simple. Take any container. If you want to do a DIY, I mean, we have a lot of videos. In fact, I don't have to explain much on a live like this. You can go to our Swachhagraha, YouTube videos. You'll see Vasuki Iyengar has a lot of videos where he explains DIY systems, how you can create your own. And there are plenty of vendors who have come up with ready kits. So you go for a ready kit, because when we launched Swachhagraha, it was about buying a ready kit and experimenting your first time with composting, taking a 7-day challenge. For 7 days, I'll not send my waste out, my kitchen waste out. Can I use this kit and convert that into something? And then you start understanding it was easy, it didn't take much time, it didn't smell, it didn't take much space. So you discover by yourself by buying this kit. So people who are very apprehensive, just go ahead. You've got plenty of vendors in the market who have come out with fantastic systems. Just buy it. They give you the handbook. You can call them and ask them for support. So I think that will be one of the best. But people who want to do it DIY, go ahead. It is so easy. Take your kitchen waste. Now when dry leaves fall, just collect dry leaves, because that's very rich in carbon. Add them together, mix dry leaves along with your kitchen peels. Add a little bit of buttermilk, 1 spoon or half a spoon of sour buttermilk. You're adding accelerator, that is the microbes. Mix them up properly and put them in a container. If it's an earthenware, great. If you have plastic, punch some holes so that aeration is maintained, and then close it and do the same thing again next day. And once it's full, it takes around 40-45 days for it to become that completely break down, and then it's ready for you to use. Of course, you will have you will check out that there is an ecosystem. You'll find maggots in it. Maggots are great because they're doing their job. You shouldn't get scared, because it is an ecosystem. You go to the forest, okay, the forest floor, you just move the forest floor, you see and the smell of the forest, it's so beautiful. It's like rain hitting the soil. You get that first rain hitting the soil. That's the smell the forest has. Why? Because breakdown of organic matter is happening constantly. Everything that falls off the trees fall on the ground, and it is this entire life on the floor of the forest. There are bugs, there are ants, there are earthworms, there are insects, there are microbes. They're all converting this organic matter into that amazing soil, which feeds that same tree again. So that is the smell that you get. So we should keep trying till we get it right. And there's today with the virtual world, you can, with your tips of your fingers, you can Google search anything and you get all the answers. So what is the big problem in today's world? You can learn it online. You can sit at home and get coached on how to do. So I think it's just bring a little excitement about composting, because by composting, you're not just saving resources to convert into something that you can grow with, plus you're saving that resource from getting lost and polluting the planet, polluting our ecosystem. So we need to be mindful of that. Yeah. So it's a double benefit.
Yeah. Moreover, as a household, we do not realize how much things we throw out in the landfills, which could have been easily avoided, and that could have been converted into a priceless thing called compost. So I have been watching a lot of your videos around bioenzymes, and I have been completely shifted. As in, we do not throw onion peels, we do not throw citrus peels, we do not throw potato peels. Something that is especially in North India. In fact, an entire country, people consume a lot of these things, and then everything goes into waste, and these can be easily converted into amazing pesticides and fertilizers. So thank you for that, Aaron, for teaching us about bioenzymes. And so before you, I guess no one knew about bioenzymes. You brought that concept, and it is something that people who are not into composting, they also can get into composting very easily. Take these three things, put them in a bottle, and after 3 months, that will get converted into a wonderful liquid. Which you, as in we have seen you using it in multiple ways in your kitchen, in your garden. So we have seen you washing dishes. So I've never seen a person washing dishes so happily. So
Oh, I love
as
washing
in,
dishes.
yeah. So I mean, I've done dishes before, and I have never been that happy. And I've seen you doing that, and every time you smell the entire bioenzyme. So that is very refreshing. So this is also one very important thing that we should all start eating bioenzymes, which is very good. One question around the entire role of celebrities like Bollywood actors, cricketers, and government institutes towards increasing the awareness. So, how far do you think that they are doing their bit to bring the awareness around that? Because this is something which needs a lot of awareness. So, I know Swachh Bharat is there and all of these things are there, but first thing should be segregation, and this is very simple. If the segregation happens at source, then everything becomes very easy. So where do you think we lack, where the celebrity, what is the role of celebrities and government institutes to bring out that thing? And will it be better if we do composting as a community activity more than a personal activity? So it becomes a little easier for me if I take my, as in if I segregate my waste, dump it in a community compost bin as compared to if I'm living in an apartment, I have a dedicated space which is blocking that. So which is better? So two questions.
What was the second question?
So what is better, the community bit or the personal composting?
Okay. I'll take that first. So it all depends because at large scale apartments, you can have a system. At least in Bangalore, it's mandated that if you have 100 kgs and more of wet waste, you have to have
Hmm.
in-house composting.
Yeah.
So we because segregation got mandated and large scale composting became also mandated. And definitely, if the housekeeping is trained and if you have an infrastructure that allows you to have a community project, that's the best way. But the thing is, you should have zero tolerance to anything that's mixed because in your house, you know that when you take your kitchen waste to your compost pile, you know there is no plastic or a battery in it, or there's nothing that is, contaminating that kitchen waste. But at a large scale, the collection itself is the most important thing, and how strict they are, the housekeeping staff is, how well trained they are, and do you have a shredder which makes it much easier, what kind of culture that you have which could accelerate it because it's large scale, so the problems are also multiple. But with a good system, so you can, we have champions of large scale composting in Bangalore. We have Savita Hiramat, who is, has her blog, so you can check out all these. So the thing is, you were talking about celebrities. I think anybody who talks something that's of any meaning, of something that is, it's not like one time. You don't get paid money to talk about something. I wouldn't really fall for that. But if somebody is consistently doing something, it will definitely influence me, right? So you see that is the face of that person, and that will be influencing. So celebrities can be influencers if they show on a daily basis on in their lives, because to me Dia Mirza is a fantastic influencer, because she is the one who practices it. she carries her bottle, she talks about the greenery, she talks about the butterflies, the birds, how connected she is. So we need people like her, and there are many more, but I don't know, I don't remember right now. But people who practice in their daily life and not just do a commercial to say, or to be a face of some movement or some campaign. That really, I don't think works with most people, unless you are star stuck and you want the star to talk about it once and everybody will do. I can't, I don't think that's going to happen, because you also need to insist on what is the impact. It's not just about doing something. You will do as an action only if you know that you're harming somebody or something, so that awareness is very important. So anybody who creates that awareness is a star for me, right from Abir, who is a little guy who talks so much about composting. So you start getting so happy that you have little influencers also who are less
Yeah.
than 5 years of age. So you don't have to be a celebrity, a movie celebrity, to do this work.
Very rightly said. Yeah. So, post-pandemic, many people realize the importance of organic kitchen gardening. So, what are your three basic tips for them, how they can start it, and what are the things which will help them to grow? So, you call yourself as an urban farmer. So, how difficult is it? How easy it is to grow your own food, and how should we start? Where should we start from?
Yeah, see, growing food is like very exciting. I mean, everybody loves greenery. Who doesn't? Everybody loves to have greenery. Maybe on the bedside, they have some plant in their drawing room. So even if they have balconies, they want to put something. So there are two different greens that I'm talking. One is something that is like not an edible. You're just having some nice greens, maybe for oxygen, for looks, or maybe just the flowering that you want. But what I believe is that we all should learn how to grow food. Maybe just the greens, your palaks and your methis, because why it's so important to learn to grow your food, because through experience, I realized only after I grew my own food that I need to consume food that is safe for me. So I make choices about no pesticides in my food, which is the farmer that still believes in natural methods of farming. So you start seeking things which are not just good for the planet, because when you grow organically without any pesticides, you're not contaminating your soil, you're not contaminating the groundwater, you're not polluting the air and the ecosystem. So that is how we need to have agriculture. But unfortunately, it has moved. You go to supermarkets, you see the lovely looking vegetables and fruits, but you have no idea what's sprayed on them. So we need to see, so the shift can happen when you start eating what you grow. Because our guru said, grow what you eat and eat what you grow. It could be a small balcony with little boxes of methi and little palaks. You
Yeah.
make your compost, feed that compost to your soil, and just see how tasty your vegetables are.
Yeah.
How wonderfully satisfying it is to grow, harvest, and cook. Because our Swachhagraha is all about that: compost, grow, and cook, so that you get you get healthy food for your family. You cook healthy food for your family. Pandemic has definitely shown how unhealthy we are, in the sense our immunity is so low. And why does the immunity go so? Because we are not well nourished. We could be eating all the processed food in the world, but that's not going to nourish us. What's wholesome food, what is safe food, what is clean food, is what you understand when you grow. So I would encourage everyone to grow maybe a tomato, a chili, and once you grow it, again, like composting, it's
No
an
looking back.
addiction. You would want to
Yeah.
grow more. You would want to find space. Some people find
Yeah.
space. There'll be empty site. Let's throw some seeds. Some compost and some seeds, and let's harvest some gourds, which will just grow on their own. They don't need much care. Of course, there will be challenges with some kind of pests and this and that. But as you learn, as you do it, only you will learn. There is no, you can't read up a lot of material about growing food, and then when you're growing, you can't get all that knowledge. You have to experience
Yeah.
it. Every time you have a challenge, that's what is going to teach you what growing is all about, what composting is all about. So I think experiential learning is amazing, because it stays with you, because you already know what didn't go well there, right? So, and then you
Yeah.
look up some
Also,
material and learn something more, right?
yeah. Also, when you start growing your own food, in fact, any plant you start growing, you get attached to that. The entire feeling is amazing. Once you sow seed and once they start coming up, this is an entirely great feeling. And sometimes you get attached to the entire crop so much that it is very difficult to harvest that. So that is one thing, and I have been a great learner and learning from you. And we have also started growing our own food, and it is an amazing feeling. I'll request all the viewers to start doing. Uh, there's one question which is not related to composting, which is around your entire social media presence. So, how has been the journey as an influencer on Instagram? And we have seen videos where you are dancing, you are carrying the waist and dancing. So, how has been the entire social media journey and any positives and negatives? So, apart from YouTube, how is Instagram different and the entire journey of social media?
Yeah, it's like unbelievable for me. Even now, I can't believe that it is really happening. It looks like some a dream. I'm in a dream world
Yeah.
right now. So it is. I would say that's there's never been a time when there was anything negative for me. It has been a very
Mm,
positive. The kind of response I get, the kind of affection that I get, the love that I get. I think that is what keeps me also very energetic, and
amazing.
yeah, the kind of DMs people send. Unfortunately, I don't have enough bandwidth to answer people and reply to
Mm,
them, but then I feel it. I get all the feeling that is
yeah.
sent towards me. So good energies in
Mm,
social media, and I thrive on it. I evolve with it,
mm,
and it's amazing to
yeah.
see champions coming out, doing their bit. It's so nice to see more and more people thinking this is very important, and giving a try at not just about waste, looking at their own waste, low waste, plus also composting and growing something. I think that'll be an awesome journey, personal journey. Each of us are, and social media helps a lot. It's. I think we are in great times when we use the social media the right way. Uh,
Yeah.
there is a huge difference we are making to the world around us, because there's a future that's waiting to breathe good air, eat good food, and drink clean water. We have so many generations ahead of us, and if we connect to nature and say this ecosystem is so precious and we need to do something, I think each of us will want to do. There's nobody will hesitate there. So it's just
Yeah.
that, that little tweaking has to happen, because we're so mindlessly consuming today. We keep going around thinking that, we don't have time for all this. But once you connect, you would not talk to your friends for a half an hour, 1 hour on the phone, but rather do something else. When we have time for that, watch movies, we do so many things. But when it comes to certain activities which we don't have connection, like if we connect to nature, and nothing like it just makes your life so much more joyful.
Yeah. So we all look up to you, we all follow you, and your content is very as in engulfing the entire movement is very fascinating. Uh, and I remember that I messaged you 3 years back, I guess, on Instagram or on Facebook. I don't remember that, but I got a reply from you. Fortunately, I got a reply from you, and it was a great feeling that you replied. And so, really, thank you for that. And before, so we are almost at the end of the entire conversation. We have a small rapid fire round that we are intending to do.
Oh my
So
God.
I'll
I'm not good at rapid fire.
I'll try to make it as interesting as possible, but please bear with me about the entire thing. I'll try to be fast, but answer very quickly. So that is the whole point of rapid fire round. So I have only 4 to 5 questions. So I request you to answer these. So we'll start. So first question is, which was your first plant ever?
First plant?
Yeah.
I think tulsi.
Alright. Your favorite plant?
Brinjals.
Plant that you have killed the most?
Uh, oh God, that's very difficult to say. I think broccoli.
Bioenzyme versus compost. Which one do you like better?
Compost.
Hmm. If you have to select one Bollywood actor and the face of composting, who would it
Face of composting. Oh, I can't remember anybody.
be? So the Amazon, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the following words: waste,
Waste, resource,
plastic,
plastic, single-use ban.
segregation,
It's a beautiful way to divert resources.
water,
Water, or elixir of life.
kitchen gardening,
The best thing for the kitchen.
worms.
Worms, superheroes.
Yeah. And Delhi.
What's that?
Delhi.
Delhi. You mean the
So since
capital?
we are from Delhi, that is why
Oh,
what
okay,
comes in.
okay. Delhi. Delhi. Happening place.
All right. So thank you so much for taking our time, ma'am. This was it. Any parting words from you?
Oh, well, great that you guys are also trying to, bring so many homes to green so many homes. All the best for you all. And yeah, I think green is the new way to say we all love nature. We want to nurture nature in our homes. So green your homes. That's it. Through
Yeah.
composting by
Thank
growing
you.
your food or with having plants around. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Vani ma'am. It was absolute pleasure to have you, especially
Thanks
on
a
our
lot.
first episode. And we cannot thank you enough for taking out time from your busy schedule. So thank you so much, ma'am. And we are looking forward to more such conversations with you.
Thank you, Sambhav,
And
and all the best for you.
take this entire composting movement to the entire world. So thank you so much, ma'am.
That'll be great. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.